day, everyone. This is a guide to the Nigerian National Assembly. You can get this book on Google. Just type "Guide to Nigerian National Assembly." You would see PDF, and you will click, and or you can. There should be a link somewhere around this video, so you can get the link to download it. Now, one of the things that this book has opened my eyes to is that there's so much power vested in the National Assembly than I think we've given credit for, and I have, at least I have given credit for. During the last election, there was so much hassle about the presidency, so much hassle. Yet, more power lies in the in the legislative than in the executive. That's just it. More power actually lies in the legislative. So I think this book has opened my eyes to that. And for a complicated system, for a community of countries, community of you know nations like Nigeria, different nations, Yoruba nation, different nations, Igbo nation, Hausa nation, different ethnicities and different community coming together like that. A national assembly that is you know complicated like that. The national assembly, the way it is designed, is what is supposed to carry us. But the shambles the country is in today is because of the national assembly. They don't realize the power that they viewed, or even if they realize, they're like about it. I mean, it is very evident in many of the things being done when you see in the preliminary sittings and all of that. So um this book has opened my eyes to it, and it's a guide to Nigerian National Assembly. I feel that every Nigerian should read this book. I feel so, because it says that this book is it is designed as a personal reference material for those who are wishing to learn the workings of the legislative institution or planning to engage it. So I think we should all engage it, because we should all engage it. We are the public, and there is room for the public to engage National Assembly. So we should all engage it. For us to be a good Nigerian, we need to pass through this. We need to learn this. We need to so that we can be, have the mind of a good legislator in ourselves. In this book is a gold. It's a big gold. So National Assembly in Nigeria is Nigeria's legislative arm of government. One can rightly say that the sovereignty of the people resides in the legislature. Um, in this book, we would still get there. There is a way the people can recall if you have someone, maybe the person is sick and cannot do the work of the legislature very well, or maybe you don't find the person to be good, you can recall the person from the legislature. For me, I feel like that is much more easier than that shows the sovereignty of the people. More than waiting every 4 years to vote, or all those things. That one is easy. You can directly engage that system and recall the person at any time we want, just by going to INEC and getting 50% of the voters in that constituency to do things. So the sovereignty of the people actually really lies in the legislature, and for a country like Nigeria, the more so. There are basic things that most people know about the National Assembly, such as that it is made up of two chambers, the Senate and the House of Reps, and that there are 109 elected members in the Senate and 360 in the House. Now, however, the National Assembly is much more than that. And this presentation tries to explain the many facets and functions of this great institution. So we have this guide explains how the National Assembly is established, the roles and functions of a legislator, and the legislative rules and procedures. Legislative rules and procedures. So National Assembly is established under Section 4. Okay, I don't want to read the whole book. I would probably still take time later out to read, but it says here some of the items in this list. So it says, okay, let me read this part. It says it is vested with the power to make laws for peace, order, good governance of the Federation with respect to matters in the exclusive legislative list. Now, good governance, right? This is what we've been looking for. It's in the hand of the legislature. Arms, aviation, currency, drugs, poisons, drugs and poisons and mines. Look at the list: prisons, banks, citizenship, copyright, patents, defense and military. I mean, even look at the list. I mean, covers everything. Powers of the National Assembly. I mean, so these are the things that we need to um this is what we need to realize. The National Assembly has the cumulative power is massive. They can even veto president's rights at times. So it's a big deal. We need to utilize that, and you know, in that sense, we are working with a united Nigeria. So structure of the National Assembly, here it is. You can read that when you get the book. The Senate President, the structure of the National Assembly, they listed Senate President, Deputy President, and all of that. So it's just to bring us into, have more idea on the Senate. Legislative powers are privileges and immunities. Now, immunities, sorry. So legislators enjoy certain powers, privileges, and immunities. Legislative powers can be defined as constitutional powers bestowed on the legislative arm of government. These powers could be expressed, implied, or assumed. Express powers are stated in the Constitution. This includes, now listen, power over public funds, power to alter the Constitution, imagine, power to ratify treaties, and the power of oversight of the executive. I mean, they even oversight on the executive. So, who is ruling? Who is it? The executive ruling the legislature ruling the executive? Actually, if you consider even from the name, they are the lawmakers. Executive are the executors of the law. So it is the lawmakers that are the one making the laws for those people to execute. So they are the ones in charge, and judiciary is just interpreting whatever laws they make. So the ones in charge. Constitution empowers the legislature to create rules regarding its own internal affairs. I mean, this is the basics of existence of the rules and standing orders that guide chambers proceedings in the Senate and House of Representatives, respectively. So they wield massive power. They wield massive power. They are the lawmakers. If you want Nigeria to change, if you want to transform Nigeria, if you want a renewed Nigeria, if you want a new Nigeria, if you want a remade Nigeria, we need to work. We need to pay close attention to our legislature and how they act. The times that they call for sittings, only a few senators are there. That is death. That is the most lackadaisical thing anybody can do for the country. That is the most wicked attitude that the person can portray in the country. Because if you look at the private sector, if you're not in the office for a day, it might cause a lot of problems. But you should be there regularly. I mean, even in the private sector, you see that if you want to make it there, you have to be there regularly. Not talk of a country where people's lives are involved and everything. These people need to sit more. There was a time they said they sat for just 66 days out of the constitutionally mandated 181 days. Now, even I feel that the 181 days is too small. They should even maybe make it like 300 days because of the peculiarity of the situation of the country. However, they are still sitting for even way less than that. I mean, how can you be sitting like maybe 3, 4, 5 times a month? Imagine. That doesn't make sense. That is not for the best of the country. So we need a situation where we need to focus on our legislature. What are these people doing there? Are they helping us? Are they really doing what they should be doing? Are they really putting enough effort? So these legislative committees, they can read up on that. Different committees. Look at the roles of the legislature. The primary role of a legislator include making laws pertaining to issues affecting public interest, representing the opinions and interests of citizens and the nations as a whole. Imagine. And overseeing government ministries, departments, and agencies. Who did we used to think oversaw the ministries? I mean, we say the executive, but it's the legislature. They're the ones in charge. They don't just make laws, they have all those other things to do, meaning that they are empowered with too much authority. So we need to focus on them. It's okay, but we need to focus on them. We need to make sure that they work. And if the legislature is working, Nigeria would work. If asked by another Nigerian citizen what the National Assembly does, he or she would proudly say they make laws. But indeed, making law is one of the main functions of the legislature. As mentioned earlier, the Constitution gives the National Assembly power to make laws for peace, order, and good governance of the Federation. In carrying out this lawmaking function, however, the National Assembly has an added responsibility of subjecting government policies ideas to rigorous intellectual and legal analysis. In addition to reinforcing policies initiatives, legislation plays a role in creating or abolishing, by affirming moral or ideological principles, or simply reassuring the public that their concerns are respected by the lawmakers. I mean, there was this session I was watching recently, and my own opinion, I was just um I was expecting that some issues would be discussed, maybe because of the concern for the public, but um maybe later it will be discussed. But from the video, I was feeling like some of the issues were not being given priorities. But apart from the fact that some people were pressing phone there and all of that, I mean, the work of these people is to reassure the public that concerns are respected by lawmakers. We put you there because we are concerned about the good laws to be made, and yet someone is at the back just pressing for. Some people don't even come at all for the sessions. This is not the best. This is not the best. The drafting stage, okay, okay, okay. So this is about lawmaking, okay. So um, um hope I'm not speaking too fast. So they are the ones that pass the national budget. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. They're the ones in charge of finance of the country. They're the ones in charge of the constitutional amendments. I mean, constitution is what sets us up. Yet they're the ones in charge of constitution. It's a powerful place. It's a powerful place. Oversight function of legislation. So they have oversight function. Generally, oversight function serves a number of objectives to improve the efficiency, economy, and effectiveness of governmental operators to to detect and prevent poor administrations, waste abuses, arbitrariness, or illegal and unconstitutional conduct, to ensure executive compliance with the law, C, to protect citizens' right, to ensure that executive policies reflect public interest, to gather information to be used by informing or educating the public, and to evaluate execution performance of national budget. If we had any concerns about the presidency, these people also have some very serious public hearing authority and some other hearing authority, meaning that they have a court-like um, power. They can do something about many of the issues that we have. Talking legal courts, normal issues, but these people can fix things. They can make things happen. So we need to focus on them. We need to focus on them. We need to focus on them. We are not without help. If we focus on these right people, we'll be able to do something. Legislatures conduct oversight through several means, such as questioning senior government officials, including ministers. They have so much power. We need to let them understand that they have so much power and that they have to use it for the betterment of the country. So they reviewing or confirming executive appointments, physical site or location visits, and committee inquiries and investigative hearings. Now, I was listening to the speaker of the house, if I'm not mistaken, was talking about the fact that they should be separate from the executive. You are the ones in charge of the executive. They are making it look as if the executive can have power over them. How can the executive have power over all of you? Doesn't make sense. The constitution gives you power over the executive. You can even annul whatever it says. You can impeach him. Doesn't make sense. But the way they talk is as if because in Nigeria we've ignored that part. We don't even care about who we put in there. We want to go and vote, we just vote anybody in any age. We don't talk about it much. We don't care much. We don't fight for it as we are fighting for presidency. We don't put all the effort we can. I know how much effort Nigerians can put in when they are dedicated, but do we put as much effort for the House of Reps? Do we shout? Do we fight like that for the House of Reps? For example, in Ondo State, you know, there was so much to say about the Labour Party and everything. I personally knew the Labour Party candidate for Akure South, and they his name did not appear on the list of the ballot. Now imagine if it was the name of Labour Party president, which was Obi, that did not appear on that ballot. You know, things would have been scattered. People would have turned things about. You know, they would have. I'm just saying that. You know, if we you know, we should place as much value. I hope you get what I just explained. The guy was supposed to run for Senate, but his name did not even appear on the ballot, so there was no way to even vote for Labour Party, which is that guy. Now, if I'm saying if it was Obi that his name did not appear on that ballot, we would have, the reaction would not be nice. So that's it, exactly. So what I'm saying is we don't put much emphasis on the legislative part compared to the way we put it on the on the executive. When we are voting, talking about the presidency, we don't put much. Yet good legislators would change the country for the better. So we need to start placing much emphasis, even more actually, more emphasis. It's just that it has to be everybody doing it. But we have to start placing even more emphasis on legislature. I'm talking cumulatively more emphasis. So each and everybody should place emphasis on the legislature, even more than you actually place emphasis on the presidency, because they have more power. And when we start doing that and we start pressuring them to do our will with the power that the constitution has vested in us, we would be able to make things work out. Representation now. How do these people represent us? Politicians, lawmakers, community leaders, negotiators, policy analysts, public speakers, advocates, social workers, diplomats. These are all attributes that can be used to describe the work of a legislator. But first and foremost, they are representatives now. In order to strengthen representation as a core legislative function, lawmakers are expected to pursue an active strategy of improving service to constituents. This can be done in many ways, including, so it's not limited to this ways, but including this way: sponsoring bills on the floors of the House, setting up constituency office to facilitate public access. Now, someone that is not even in the meeting, how will you be able to do all this? I mean, so much is wrong with the legislature. So much currently. So regular physical visits to constituencies, meetings with interest groups in order to stay engaged with various issues of concern. I mean, these people don't even do any of these things. This is why Nigeria is like this. Presenting petitions in the National Assembly on behalf of constituents to ensure that their grievances are addressed. I mean, I'm saying most of them, some of them, they don't even go to meetings. They don't put effort to do all these things. I mean, seeking public consultations and input on a bill, soliciting the opinions of constituents on certain legislative policies, keeping in touch with community leaders. I mean, creating awareness and disseminating relevant information to constituencies, actively participating in the budget process and ensuring that there is room for constituents to also participate through monitoring of local projects, and actively engaging the media and civil society groups. Do they actively engage the media? Do they? I mean, that's just one. Now, recall. How do we recall a person if we find, okay, know that the constituents feel that they are poorly represented or have lost confidence in the ability of their legislator, they may recall them. So recall is a procedure where voters can remove an elected member of an area council, state house of assembly, or national assembly from office. Section 69 to 1 and 110 of the of the constitution powers more than one half of registered voters in affected constituencies to sign a petition and present it to the chairman of the INEC stating their grievances. Following this, INEC would be required to conduct a referendum in that constituency within 90 days to decide the legislators' fate. However, before this, INEC must adhere to the following administrative checks: ensure that the petition for recall presented is signed and arranged according to polling units, wards, LGAs, and the constituency. Cross-check the signatories that appear on the voters register. Notify the members sought to be recalled, stating the receipt of the petition for his or her recall. Issue a public notice or announcement stating the date, time, and location of verification. Verify the signatories to the petition at the designated location. Where more than half of the signatories are verified, the Commission goes ahead to conduct a referendum. A referendum in a recall is a direct vote that determines a question for the purpose of removing an elected member of an area council, state, or national assembly. If the number verified is less than one half of the registered voters in that constituency, the Commission shall write to the petitioner stating that the petition did not meet the minimum requirement and is therefore dismissed. So you see, it is possible to recall, and it's actually a possible process if we put our minds to it, and if we are all sensitive to the legislature. I mean, we need. There's so much work to do here, but it starts like this. It starts by being knowledgeable about it and pushing. So it is not worthy that the recall process is again applicable to governor and president. They can only be impeached by two-thirds majority of members of the House, as the case may be, before their terms of office expire. So these are the people that can actually impeach the president. You send people over to that place, they can actually do these things. So if we start putting pressure on them and they realize that so it is us, the people, we can't directly touch the president, but we can touch the people that will touch him. So it is what we do that they pick and do. Someone becomes president, we think the person is not competent. We can't do anything, but we can do something that will do something about it. That's very, very interesting. So if we are really, really serious about taking back the country, transforming the country, changing things, this is the way it's going to be. This is the way it's going to be. By our own focus is not on presidency, leave it alone. It's on the National Assembly. This is where we have the full power. This is where our sovereignty lies. We don't know that this is where sovereignty lies, and that's been the issue. So, legislative procedure and mastery of the rules. Okay, debates and motions and resolutions. Motions. So, resolutions, some traditions, and so vetoes. The power of the president or governor of a state to reject or refuse to sign a bill. When they don't sign the bill, the two-thirds of the legislature can sign the bill. So there's so much power in these people, and this is where our sovereignty lies. That's why I feel the need to share this book. You can just get it on Google, just type Guide to NANS, and I think it's time we need to start focusing on the House of Assembly more. I checked the YouTube channel for the House of Assembly. I think just a few thousand views, maybe it's never up to 10,000, 1,000 plus. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to start working on making sure that we are more focused on the assembly. We need to start making sure that we change things, we transform things. We need to start working on making sure that we really, really use our power. This is where our sovereignty lies. We've not been using our sovereignty. There is sovereignty of the people. It doesn't lie in the judiciary, it doesn't lie in the executive, it lies in the legislator. It lies in our relationship with the legislator. So thank you very much. I hope this video has been helpful. Please get the book, read it up, so you get blessed. Thank you very, very much. God bless you. Okay. If you look at the assembly, I just want to the religious aspect of this whole thing. Petition, they petitions. They literally called it prayer. If you notice there, they literally called it prayer. I feel like if you're being religious, assembly is ecclesia, and that's what the church was called, ecclesia. the church. That was what it was called, ecclesia assembly, and that is what the gathering of people really means. So it's about gathering and making laws. Even in the church, you should gather, talk about the laws of God, and then pray. A person who has not heard the law, even the prayer of that person is an abomination. That's what the scripture says. So the laws of God are very important to a church, as much as good as prayer. And so if the laws they are making, if they're not really sitting down to really make laws and make discuss the things they are supposed to do, um there would be issues, there would be problems. So the assembly is very important, the laws they are making are very important, their attitude, their own attitude. In education, I'm a teacher. In education, um we don't we live by example, we act by example, we do things by ourselves. And so if the legislature is showing like a daisical attitude, they are setting some we call it you know what's the name now, they are setting some real wrong culture. The ideal culture is what they should follow. The ideal culture should be that they should create efforts. As the country is not doing too well, they should sit down to to in fact, if the constitution says 118 times this time of meeting, they should meet 300 times if possible in the year. Do you understand? But they are meeting even less, and that is a big problem. So they are being lackadaisical about the country. They don't care. I guess they just feel like it's a place where they can just go and just chill out. That should not be. That is what we need to change. That is what needs to be transformed. That is what must change, because they are the place of, what would I say? They are the place of prayer for this country. Let me just put it that way. They are the place of prayer, the place of lawmaking, which is also should be the place of prayer, and then they are the assembly. They are the assembly. So they are the assembly of the country. They are where Nigeria comes together. So if Nigeria is coming together and Nigeria is playing when they come together, how would they stand? But when Nigeria comes together and Nigeria does something about their lives, like when Nigeria comes together and Nigeria makes moves that can transform them, when Nigeria comes together and Nigeria gets serious, that's what can actually change the country. But when Nigeria comes together and Nigeria is playing, or Nigeria comes together and instead of making good laws, they're just pressing phone. When Nigeria comes together, instead of making good laws, they are not discussing the things that are proper, then there's no way we'll be able to save ourselves and save our children from ungodliness and unrighteousness and killings and banditry and different kind of ungodly activities that are happening. So this is how Nigeria needs to change. This is the place of prayer for Nigeria. This is the place of assembly. This is the place of lawmaking. We need to make this happen. We need to transform this country by touching the legislators. God bless you, sir. So much.